Hello everyone, I'm Bill Kerr.
And I'm Weeks Ringle.
And we're here at Modern Quilt Studio with our new fabric line, Zest.
We're really excited about this line because we've made it really easy for you to be successful using this fabric line, and yet I think it is different from something you might already have in your stash.
So we'll walk you through some of the ideas that went into this.
And we'll show you some of the sample quilts that we've made that will be ready and available in time for the fall launch of Zest.
Exactly.
In stores.
And we wish we could be here with you live, but we're able to at least pre-record this for you since we had a conflict. So let's get going and talk about this.
So the first thing that we do when we're designing a fabric line, and we do everything from scratch. So we design all the motifs and do all of the color work and put everything in repeat. So that's all ready to go. But before we do that, when we're just thinking about that, the line, we think about the sweet spots. And there are a couple of sweet spots when you're designing a fabric line.
And using fabric.
Right. But I think for designing a fabric line, the first thing is that you want the fabrics to have enough contrast that when you're cutting them up and you're using 18 of them together in a quilt, you'll see the contrast between the pieces, but you also want the colors to be unified enough that as a line it looks cohesive, so people will understand what to do with it and how to use it.
And part of that sweet spot is having something fresh and unique with new colors and new patterns, but having it still relate to the fabrics that you have in your stash that you love.
Especially those fabrics that we've designed that we want you to be able to use, that you might have in your store or in your stash.
So let's show you these fabrics. I've got 3 colorways of this fun print that is really useful. It's called Spark. It cuts up nicely, but man, these are great in backings because they tie into colors that are already in your quilt really well, and they add additional colors that may not already be in there. So that's the Spark print. The next one that we have, again, 3 colorways here, is called Merriment. It's like a twist on a dot because it's a dot in a dot with these little connectors.
They give it a little bit of movement without being directional, so that's super helpful.
And I've got a third print here called Spirit, and it comes in 3 colorways. It has a multicolored on white, a black and gray on white, and then a really nice kind of green that's easy to work with. And you'll see here again on screen how you have these crossing lines that aren't hard and rigid. They work with geometrics, they work with hand-drawn prints. They're just very versatile.
I think what's great about the Spirit, the silver Spirit too, is that we have a couple of fabrics in this line that don't have color in them, that are gray and white or black and white. And those provide really nice background print opportunities for a quilt or bindings or backings. So sometimes the absence of color gives you contrast as well.
Gives you freedom.
It does.
And that silver print, it's shades of gray. I want to make sure you realize it's not a metallic, but it's really rich shades of gray. And now Weeks has the other 3 prints here.
So one of them that I love is that when we think about binding, we always want something that's a small enough scale that if you have a 1/2-inch finished binding, it doesn't look like slivers of flowers or something like that. So this Zeal print, and I love the zebra zeal. Say that 3 times fast.
We should do a tongue twister line.
Yeah. So we've got 3 different colors. We've got the grape and the bluebell and the zebra. And these make really fun and contrasting or not bindings, because sometimes you want a binding that's different from everything else to frame the quilt.
And we're going to show you our 2 sample quilts that we'll show you in a minute are done with this as the binding.
But sometimes people also love to have a contrasting element. If you have a lot of color, to have a contrasting element that's black and white or black and silver, as we talked about, gives you that built-in contrast, so you don't have to worry about having the figure ground problems and things like that. Okay, then also the Gusto. There's 3 of Gusto prints, and we love these 3 variations because they're darker than some of the prints that Bill showed you. So you have that value, the lightness or darkness of the fabric, also is a component of the line that's also built in contrast to make it really easy for you to have the right fabric and the right roll.
Exactly.
Now, my favorite is the Wonder fabric. Oh my gosh, I just love this print. And there are 3 of these as well. And these are a multicolor print that really would be fantastic as a backing, as well as an element on the front that ties all of these smaller scale multicolored prints together. So, usually if you're looking at most patterns, you want more than one multicolored print because otherwise the others look a little flat.
Yeah.
So having these 3 multicolored prints that can be used alone as a sort of color story or all together. Yep.
So all of these fabrics come together really nicely in the sample quilts we've made. So we have 2 of them to show you. The first one is called Straightaway, and this is a free to use pattern, and I'll hold it so you can see right there. The concept is that it uses different widths cut from selvage to selvage, alternating that black and white spirit print with all of the other prints in the line. So you get real contrast. And if you look here on screen at the flat shot, you can see what's so nice in these big squares that are 2 triangles matched. You don't match points. Basically, you make 2 big squares, cut them diagonally, and put them back together.
It's so forgiving. And one of the things that we recommend in the pattern when you're sewing yardage of long, thin, selvage to selvage strips is to alternate directions of sewing so you don't get bowing if there's any sort of small tension problem that adds up over time.
Yes, we give technical tips.
Yeah, so you sew pairs in one direction and then sew in the other direction, and that makes sure that your yardage stays straight.
And then Weeks has the other quilt we made.
Yeah.
So Do-Si-Do is a pattern that's for sale, for purchase.
And you'll see that this is a very simple construction, no templates, very easy to sew, but the interest comes in the fabric placement to create these both vertical and horizontal lines that really give the quilt movement. There's a lot of detail in the fabric, so they really lend themselves to simple construction.
And it's also strip pie friendly. It works with your 2.5 inch strip sets that are sold.
Yeah.
And so those are the quilts we've made. We're excited about this fresh new line.
And there'll be more.
And
more to come.
We always have more in the works.
So we hope that you will enjoy both also our Sunnyside line that's still out. That's what's in stores right now and what we have on our website. And in the fall, we hope you'll join us as we launch Zest. And this is the little sneak peek.
Sneak peek. Sorry, you got to wait. You got to wait. So take care, everyone, and happy spring.
Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Bye-bye.